Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome, everyone. We've got someone else coming in as well. Where is he? And we have Dali Talk here as well. We are live.
We're live.
We're live. Yes, we're live. Pretty soon. Hey, John.
Hey.
How's it going? Hello. Do we have Jean here as well? Yes. Hey.
Hello,
Very shortly, we're going to have Nik here and all of the Vikings. Hey, Paige. Cool. So what we're going to do is we're just going to get this testimony back up. We're going to get this lady here back running.
I thought he was referring to the baby.
How is that audio?
I could only hear everything.
Probably as good as it'll get.
At what point were you able to actually come out of the room?
I can hear it okay. Can you hear it okay?
I came out of the bathroom once,
it might even be a little bit loud.
When I didn't hear any more shots, because I'm trying to peep out the door to see, okay, did we get any help up here? And I peep out the door and I see there are officers there. So then I go back in the bathroom and lock the door. And then once I don't hear any
actually,
more,
yes, before people get here, I might actually get you to do that, Dali.
And I peep and there's an officer there, and I was showing him my work badge and just asked him if I can come out. I was the charge nurse for the unit, so he told me to come out, and we needed to go check on patients.
Do you recall what agency that officer was with?
Hey, Nikki.
He was with Dallas. He wasn't with Methodist.
Yeah.
Okay, Dallas.
So the reason being is hello, everybody. Hello. Hey, Nikki. Yes, we are so live. Young. We are so live. Yes. So there we go. I'm just going to remove this one from stage and pop this one up instead. There we go. About the 2-hour mark.
Yeah, I'm like a minute behind.
Cool, thank you. Hey, reindeer. Hello, lovely.
Do you recall what agency that officer was with?
Is that too loud?
He was without.
That's so wonderful. Thank you, Dali. Yeah, very soon Nik will be here,
Dallas,
and all the Vikings will start to come in.
Mm-hmm.
And I might just get a chitty chat to pop up to the
And when you were able to actually come
pin
outside
on
of
the top of the
room,
chat.
what was the scene like?
Sounds
Did it
good.
seem like it was calm? How would you describe the scene?
So let's see what's Jean written.
There was no more yelling or anything like that. We just went from room to room trying to get patients, make sure they were okay, checking on patients. An officer went with me and another nurse to different rooms.
Welcome, Vikings.
Injured at that point in time?
And please
I never saw
and I need to do, pardon? I need to do I need a watch-a-thon as well.
Looks like
Who's
you're heading
here?
over now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's Nik. Let's stop this for just a second. Hello.
Hey.
Awesome.
Hey.
Hello. Let's just do a quick welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. Everyone seems to be coming in. Hey guys. Ghost is here. Robbie Miller's here. Puddingway's here. Hey Veal. Hello. I swear we started watching this last week, Dali and I, and this is 10,000 times better.
Yeah.
With your fine work. So well done. And you just give so much of a professional time to all of us in the community, and we just can't thank you enough. So we need to. I'll put up your link in a moment.
Yeah, and the original stream is not Law and Crime. It's not Court TV. It's a completely separate.
It's a local news station. Their intern went and shot this on his iPhone, basically.
Yeah, not even their intern. They just went and found some kid on the street with
the first generation iPhone.
Yeah. It's actually a Nokia.
But it's really fun to see other than Court TV and Law and Crime, because that creates more content for all of us. So we don't have to all jump on the same 3 trials that are on
Yeah.
at the moment.
It is.
So-
It's nice actually to be able to go and do something a bit different. And this is it's a short one. It's very interesting. And it's good to be able to watch something that it's in a different kind of area. And
but don't spoil the ending, because
oh no.
a lot of people have no idea this trial even was.
Yeah.
No.
Not even
I
the
know.
poor local station. They had quite poor numbers because of day one's absolutely horrendous sound. So big thank you to Wilhelm Media for cleaning up the sound for us. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. And Nik, thank you for sharing your lovely Viking chat and bringing them over to here. Let's continue, shall we? All of you guys who haven't met us before, my name is Excited Utterance on YouTube, but my actual name is Helen, or people call me Hella. So nice to meet you. Please like and subscribe to my channel. And this is Salvador Dali below me, and he is my co-host. He would love you to get to know him and his channel as well. You'll see some links at the very top of my chat there that the lovely Jean XO has given you. I'm going to pin them in a moment once we get this going.
Okay.
And we would just love to get to know you all. So we're a lovely community here and we're all great friends of Nik. So let's get going, shall we?
Yeah.
She made.
Yes. I heard her when I was in the bathroom. I heard her saying,
You can put on the closed captions because it makes it a bit
don't
easier.
hurt him. He's already.
Dali?
He's already down. He's giving up the gun, and she was screaming.
Wonderful.
And just saying, don't hurt him.
And Ms. Smith, I know that your tone is kind of low. If you wouldn't mind just speaking directly into the microphone so that you can hear you, because we're also have to take it down. So
Okay.
if you can just repeat to what you heard the female voice saying.
She was saying, don't hurt him. Don't hurt him. He's already down. He's already hurt. He's giving up the gun. Don't hurt him.
Oh, you're sweet.
Who the female voice was referring to?
I assumed it was referring to him.
To the defendant?
Yes.
Okay. And when you saw this individual shooting, were you able to see the gun that he was firing with?
I just saw it was a black gun.
Okay. And with a small gun?
It looked like a small gun.
Gun that you would hold in your hand like a handgun?
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. I'll pass it to Trump.
I just have a couple of questions for you. You said earlier in your testimony here today that when you saw the defendant shooting, that he was shooting towards Annette. Is that correct?
Yes.
If you recall being interviewed by these two prosecutors as well as investigator Swain from the district attorney's office back on September the 18th of 23.
I do. Yes.
You recall at that time that you told them that you saw the defendant shooting a gun out towards a couple of rooms, but you couldn't tell what he was shooting at.
He was shooting between room 5 and 7, and that's where Annette was standing, and he was aiming up high.
Okay, but you told when you were interviewed, you know that they were taking notes when they interviewed you. You saw them taking notes, correct?
Yes, I did.
And if you said you didn't know what he was shooting at, and you never saw Annette get hit, did you?
I never did.
And you said that at the time that you saw the defendant shooting that gun, that the door was virtually closed behind him. Is that right?
Yes, it was.
What was keeping that door propped open at that time?
I don't know.
But you said how much the door was open?
It was probably about like this much
Okay,
space.
would I be accurate in, for the record to say that you're gesturing with your hands about 6 inches apart?
Yeah.
I believe that's all I have for you, man. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, he did this again as he did with the prior witness, that asking her.
You saw him firing the gun outside of the room, correct?
Yes,
Did you see Annette in the hallway?
I did.
And again, specifically as it relates to where he was aiming, was it at and in the direction?
Are you frozen, Bella?
Yes, it
No.
was.
No.
But you did not see her get hit?
I didn't see her get hit.
Did you see her fall or anything like
No.
that? Or walk
Sorry,
away?
what were you saying?
Okay.
I was just pinning a message.
Firing towards-
Annette, yes.
No, he did. The defense lawyer did it again. claiming, saying something about the notes, but then didn't bring the receipts.
Yep.
So he failed again to try to impeach the witness, and that's twice in a row. Now I would assume that he has lost the jury already.
Yeah.
He's not doing a great job. Really. I mean, he's kind of given up.
He's painting by numbers.
So let's take a lunch break.
And he doesn't have a lot to work with. He's supposed to work zealously for his client.
Yes.
I don't find him. I mean, you can't just paint by numbers.
I feel like he has checked out, and it's
he does what he can to not get. He does what the little he can do, but if he's going for murder too in some shape or form, I don't think it's going to work.
I mean, he's not as bad as the guy with the
32 second,
the 32-second man, with
Alan Ford.
Yeah.
And no, that was horrific. And a defense lawyer who nods off during the state's opening statement makes a 32-second opening statement, makes two objections the entire trial.
You fell asleep.
I'm amazed he did that. He hadn't washed for 3 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, it was really caveman attorney going.
Looked like a werewolf.
Yeah.
He was just dressing up like the dog that was part of the one of the victims in the in the trial.
Just a word of advice: there are things going on in the trial, so try to pause, talk, and then restart.
Okay.
Because I know some people get annoyed if we talk over the court proceedings.
Gotcha.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah. But I sent all the people I could over.
That's
keep
lovely.
watching. Give all the thumbs up so Hella can get her hours in.
Yes.
Because she has the subscribers. But I need to run. I have to prepare for tomorrow.
Bye, Nick. Thank you so much. And let's catch up about when to do the rest of this week.
Yeah.
Wednesday,
Tomorrow for me, it's a Yodi Day and a Young Thug update. Wednesday, I hope you can do afternoon again.
Should be able to.
Yeah. Thursday, it's a live hearing with Young Thug. And then Friday, I hope we can dual stream this.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I hope.
Cool.
I hope we can.
It's just closing.
So. Yeah. No spoilers.
No.
No spoilers. Definitely not. We don't do spoilers around here.
Yeah.
No. It's always fun to do trials with you, Nick.
Yeah.
So yes,
okay.
absolutely.
But I gotta run.
Have a great
thank
day.
you all. I see you all later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Such a sweetie guy.
Whilst nothing is happening, I would just like to say hello to some people who I don't know. 99 Pink Balloons. How are you? Good to meet you. Can the witness ask him for the notes? If the judge says it's okay and it's discoverable notes, like both parties have them, I see no reason why not. Like to have their memory jogged. How many watch hours do I need? I still need 1,200 rare in the history. I know, but
Halfway there.
let's listen to this.
If it helps you, by all means do so, okay? But just understand that sometimes you might, as you're writing those notes, you might be missing testimony that's unknown. And you have to rely on your own memory of what you heard, okay? So if you're able to juggle that and do that at the same time, by all means do that. But that's just, something that I found during trial. All right, is the state ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Call your next witness.
State calls Sergeant Robert Monhill.
Hmm. I love you, John.
Yes, right.
Do you swear?
Well, there you go. There's your answer, 99 pink balloons.
Truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God.
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Thank you. Have a seat. Statement.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Evil Queen, I've not met you. Welcome.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Good afternoon.
You've been here all day, so I appreciate your patience, okay?
Yes, sir.
If you could please introduce yourself to the jury by stating your name and spelling it for the court reporter.
My name is Robert Rangel, R-O-B-E-R-T. Last name is R-A-N-G-E-L.
And Sergeant Rangel, how are you currently employed, sir?
I work with the Methodist Health System of the Methodist Police Department.
Okay, how long have you been with Methodist PD?
Basically, as far as supervisor, I approve reports, work on schedules for the Dallas campus. I'm in charge of the units, the maintenance, making sure that they're equipped and running operationally. Answering calls for service within the hospital, outside in the parking lots. Examples are dealing with patients who are altered, angered, emotionally disturbed, giving general directions within the hospital. Outside in the parking lots, we try to deter the property crimes for burglaries or stolen vehicles, things of that nature.
And do you know how many officers are currently employed with Methodist PD total?
It fluctuates so much. Right now, I would say it's probably 35, 38.
And how many officers on any given shift are on duty?
Ask me one more time, please.
Yeah, on any particular given shift, how many officers are on duty on any particular shift, on average?
At one hospital,
Yes.
at some hospitals, there's one officer. At some, there could be as many as 4 or 5.
Let's talk about Methodist Central.
We typically run with 3 officers there.
All right, tell the jury a little bit about your background, your experience. Did you have any prior law enforcement experience prior to joining Methodist PD?
Yes, sir.
Okay, with what department?
I started in 1996 with the Beeville Police Department as a patrolman. And I was there just short of 3 years. I resigned there and I relocated to Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office, which is in the southern part of Texas, McAllen area. I was there about 14 years. And then I took 1 year off law enforcement, and then I ended up in B County Sheriff's Office. As far as some of the duties that I had with Beeville PD, which is my first job, I was a patrolman. I moved up to become a field training officer. And then I relocated to the sheriff's office. I started as a patrol deputy, and I got nominated to start the community policing program, which is completely new to South Texas. I was there about maybe 9 months, and then I got moved to civil and warrants as far as.
Yes, so there is a StreamYard glitch. When you're give administrative powers to somebody else, not all the time, but sometimes the person you give administrative powers to, when they go to chat in StreamYard, they chat as the other person.
Sal, can you just chat in your phone, please?
I'll try.
Because there's lots of people here who don't know us very well,
Fair
and
enough.
I really don't want people seeing me chat as.
With,
sorry, could you keep pausing it for a second?
Yeah, sorry.
A minute ago, you said something about. I thought he said meth head.
Ish, instead of Methodist.
Yeah, I didn't
was not
say
her.
that. That was
me.
not me.
No, I will try to chat out
Yeah.
in the YouTube.
mental patients. I promoted to investigator at the sheriff's office. I started with the juvenile investigations, property crimes, and crimes against person. And I went to the robbery homicide division. And then I promoted to sergeant, and as sergeant, I pretty much maintained within
I'll be right back.
criminal investigations. Some other areas, as far as I was a academy instructor at the sheriff's office, a firearms instructor, juvenile instructor. I was a negotiator with, we called it the SORT team, but it's the equivalent to a SWAT team, what most people refer to. I was a negotiator and the tactical. I did evidence. I was in charge of evidence, the management system, and at B County Sheriff's Office, I mainly just did field training with criminal investigations.
Okay. So approximately when did you start with Methodist PD? What day?
Uh-oh.
If I'm correct, it was July 28th of 2020.
I don't know if they have a
And were you on duty on our?
police department per se, but I mean, there is usually a lot of security there for big city hospitals.
October 22nd of 2022 at approximately 11 a.m.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you recall the time of your shift that day?
On that day, I went in at 10 o'clock, and I was scheduled to get off at 2 o'clock, 2 p.m., 10 a.m. till 2 p.m.
Okay. And do you recall how many other officers were on duty at that time for that particular time frame?
Yes, sir. We had 2 other officers.
Do you remember their names?
Yes, sir. Katricia McCrell, the patrol officer. And we have just to kind of explain it, we call them PRNs, but they're outside police department officers who work part-time with Methodist. PRNs, we had Jaime Hinojosa.
And so on that date,
That was me, sorry.
Between 10 and 11 a.m., do you recall receiving a call that sent you to?
You can remove them.
Yes, sir.
What was the nature of the call that you received?
It was lost property. I believe that dispatch aired it out on the radio.
Okay, so what did you do when you got the call?
I responded from the ER, emergency room, emergency department, and I went up to the Shingle Tower, which is the tower where the postpartum is, and then I walked to the 4th floor.
Were you able to make contact with the individuals who made the call? And take us from there. What happens at that point?
Dead
Contact with the individuals inside the room, and then
Part of our procedures within the police department is we have these body cameras. I believe back then we were using WatchGuard. It's a different system to the one that we now currently use. So we always activate our cameras before going into the room, before we make contact with a person or persons. So I knocked on the door. And I typically always say police department just to kind of identify myself in case I have the wrong room or something. I try to identify myself, and I kind of slowly pushed the door open. I looked inside, and there was a gentleman. He's wearing a Dallas Cowboy jersey, and I believe the woman that he was with was his wife. They were in the room. They were needing to file a police report.
and so at some point, do you exit the room?
Yes, sir.
For what reason?
There was a knock on the door. Usually when I walk into the room, because it's patients, I try to close the door behind me to kind of maintain that privacy for the patients. So I closed the door just enough where if somebody walked by, they couldn't see into the room for the patient. There was a soft knock on the door. I turned around, and it was a staff member. I don't know if she was a nurse, but I know she was a staff member because we have these hospital regulated IDs that we're required to wear within the hospital. And she walked in pushing some sort of cart or something. So I told the people that I was there to talk to, I said, I'm going to give you guys some privacy. And I started to walk out towards the door, and they said, no, you don't have to walk outside. And I was like, well, I always have that habit. I just like to give them the privacy right while they're doing whatever they're doing. So I walked outside into the hallway, and I just waited there in the hallway while the nurse or the staff member was inside.
So Sergeant Brown, let me ask you this particular unit, the postpartum unit where the mothers and the babies are, is that an open unit where people can go in and out, or is it secure?
It's secure. If you'll allow me to explain.
Yes, sir, please.
If you're coming up the shingle elevators, I call it a call box button. You have to push the button, and I believe there's like a little camera, mini camera, and then you have to speak to the person inside the unit, means within the secured area. There's a nurse that tries to establish as far as what kind of business you have in there to keep people that aren't supposed to be there outside. So you push the call box, it turns on, one of the staff members opens it. So I would say secure under those, which is typically it's always working.
So in other words, somebody can't just walk in off the street, they would actually have to be buzzed in by an employee.
Yes, sir.
Well, maybe you should tell us the history of the call box and why it's so important over and over again.
You indicated that you had stepped out of the room to give the patient some privacy. What happens? Does anything unusual happen at that point?
Yes, sir. I was waiting in the hallway and I was looking at the door where I was supposed to be talking to these people, where the staff member was inside. And there's always, I call it foot traffic, pedestrians, the workers inside in the hallways, whether it's a nurse, a doctor, a technician, or any type of hospital employee. There's always foot traffic within the hallways. So I try to kind of like hug the hallway so I won't be blocking the hallway. And as I'm facing the door, the patient door where I'm supposed to be talking to these people, I hear what I would describe as a light bulb that explodes or that pops, if I'm explaining it correctly, like a light bulb that just popped.
Okay, so you heard a popping sound?
Yes, sir.
And in your mind, again, you described it as sort of like a light bulb popping?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what are you thinking at that point?
The first thing I'm thinking is, because like a day or two before, I made dinner at home for my kids, and the person who made an error was myself. A light bulb, it was out, and I turned it and it popped and it shattered on top of all the food. So when I heard that noise, that's the first thing I thought, because it's
Is this guy gonna tell us anything? Like, he's just going into random tangents.
He's a bit flowery, isn't he?
Oh, I was making dinner for my family, and there was an error, and the person who made that error was me. And in my ASMR voice, I'm going to tell you about the light bulb and how it popped over our food. We couldn't eat the food next.
Yeah, he needs to just be reined in a little bit.
identical to it.
Also, just while we're at it, hi, Wicked Psyched. I don't think I've met you before.
Either.
Welcome.
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
In the door.
Wrong, no.
Yeah.
So I turned to my right, and I turned scanning that way because there's probably maybe 8 more rooms to my right.
And then I turned to my left.
The first thing my mind told me is light bulb. And then I hear what I would describe as someone asking for help.
And I realized light bulbs don't ask for help.
So my mind is like, which room is that coming from?
There's a light bulb in danger.
And
I'm sorry, to ask you about that. You stated that it sounded like somebody was asking for help. Could you tell whether or not the voice that you heard was a male or female voice?
female.
And do you recall any specific statements that was made at that time, or was it just a general cry for help?
It was a soft cry for help.
So what did you get in response?
The next thing that I remember processing in my mind was I saw
Thank you, Wicked Psyched. If you could subscribe to Dali as well, there's a
which
link at the top of the
at
chat.
first, before I started working in the hospital, it always drew my attention because I've never worked in a hospital until I came to Methodist. But within the 3 years
so
that I've been
nice.
there, seeing
to meet
droplets
you.
of blood on the floor is very, very common. Very common. So when I see the drop of blood, my mind is trying to
Welcome.
process the noise.
Who got cut by a light bulb?
That voice I heard, and trying to figure out what's going on at that point.
Did you see anybody else inside the hallway at that point?
There was another nurse. There was a nurse in the hallway, probably 5 feet away from me, give or take.
Do you know her name? Did you know her name at the time?
No, sir, I did not.
Okay. Can you describe what she looked like?
She was a white female. She had on hospital scrubs that the nurses wear. She had the same color of scrubs that the nurses wear up there in that unit.
And what was she doing when you saw her?
She was kind of facing me, and I remember having I carried a little notepad to write my notes, my field notes.
And I asked her where the light bulbs were because I couldn't see enough to write down anything.
So I think at that point, because I'm waiting for the nurse to finish inside that room,
This is his big moment.
notepad in my hand, one of my hands.
Mom, I'm finally on
So when I
TV.
hear that
Yeah.
noise that I identified as a light bulb, I turn, I see the drop of blood.
He identified as a light bulb?
Was it fluorescent or compact or incandescent?
I think
What
it
was
one
the
of those,
wattage of the light bulb,
I
sir?
think it was one of those color changing ones, you know, the red, blue,
Yeah,
those ones.
UV lights or whatever.
I don't judge.
And I hear a man's voice. I could tell it was a male's voice. And all within that same time, I hear a female start to scream hysterically.
Did you tell her what the male voice was saying?
Something like,
I need a light bulb.
"This is real."
Christmas lights.
And
Well,
I could clearly tell that he was very, very angry.
Okay, and how describe the female voice for us? Did you hear any specific words? The female voice was screaming.
The female voice was screaming, "What the fuck? What the fuck?"
And you described the male's voice as angry, very angry, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
How would you describe the tenor of the female's voice, or the tone of her voice?
Overwhelmed, hysterical, and is trying to, from what I could hear and how she sounded, she was trying to understand what was happening.
And just so the record is clear for the jurors, so they're clear, this is after you heard the pop.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So describe for us what you do next. You hear the popping sound, you see the nurse in the hallway, you hear the screaming from both voices. What do you do at that point?
I took a couple of steps towards the door where the nurse was in that area. And I believe I tried to talk to her, like to watch out or to move or something like that. Because my mind was really starting to flip out inside of me within everything that was happening. And I tried to tell the nurse to like keep walking or something like that.
You said that your mind was starting to flip out. Why did you feel that way?
In order, and I'm sorry, I have to repeat it for me to try to remember it. In order is, I hear what I describe as a light bulb. I hear the female voice like help. I turn, I see the drop of blood. and I see the nurse standing or kind of making 1 or 2 steps towards where I thought the male and the female the female had already screamed, "What the F, what the F?" And the man, I could tell he was angry. And it was right in that time that I heard another gunshot. I heard a gunshot that I said, "This is a gunshot."
You heard the gunshot, and then what happened? Were you able to see who was shooting at that point?
I slow walked very slowly. I couldn't see inside the room, but at that time I was like 99% sure that it was coming from the first room to my right, down the hallway. So I'm trying to look into the room without putting myself in that fatal funnel.
Fatal funnel.
Yeah.
Because the man is screaming, the woman's screaming.
It's officer military term.
Is it?
Yeah, if you're you don't want to be like in an alley or like trapped in an area like a doorway or whatever. If you're gonna get into a firefight.
Okay. Never heard that term before. Right.
Fluorescent.
And then I try to look. I want to look at the nurse, but I don't want to keep my eyes. I don't want to take my eyes off of the door.
Imagine a first date
That's
with
where
this
my
guy.
danger is. So I try to look over there and look at her, and the third shot is what I remember. The nurse got hit by a bullet, and she tells me I'm hurt. I think I've been hit, and I'm just going like this because all in that same time, as I'm getting right towards the door within my field of view, I saw a Hispanic male. He had on blue jeans and a black muscle shirt, and he had a black pistol in his hand.
So going back to you described that when you hear the additional gunshots, that's when you realized that the nurse had been hit because she said something along those lines, I've been hit or I'm hurt, correct?
Yes, sir.
Are you able to look at her visibly and tell that she's hurt?
I can say with certainty that when I managed to like glance real quick at the nurse, I saw some blood around her neck, and she was holding her neck.
And so going back, you were kind of giving us a description of this individual with the gun, correct?
Yes, sir.
At what point do you recall actually seeing this person with the gun?
It was right around the time that the nurse got hit with the bullet.
So just so we're all clear, you heard 2 additional shots, correct, after the first initial shot that you thought was a rifle. You heard
Yes.
2 more?
Yes, sir.
Were you able to see who was firing those shots, or did you just hear them?
I heard the shots. I couldn't see who was firing up until the point that I saw the Hispanic male with a pistol in his hand. That's who I identified as the person who was shooting.
So you gave a description of this Hispanic male. Can you describe what the gun looked like?
Based on my personal experience with firearms, I'd have to say I know it was a dark colored, black color. It looked like maybe a 380.
And the individual that you saw with the gun that day, can you identify that person? Is that person in court today?
Yes, sir.
If I'm in seat number 1, my co-counsel in seat number 2, all the way down the line, please identify what seat number you see.
It's going to be in the 5th seat. He's wearing the black jacket, black tie.
Maybe record reflect this witness has identified the defendant on the court.
The record will so reflect.
Thank you. Okay, so you get the 2 additional shots. You see the male with the gun in his hand. What did you do with it?
I took a couple of steps back, and I drew. I took out my handgun, and at that same time, the nurse who had been hit, who was standing in the hallway, she's walking towards what I call the charge nurse desk. It's kind of the main desk where the people check in and check out as far as the nursing station. And as I took a couple steps back, my mind was trying to process, right? And my gun, I'm right-handed, so I took my gun out in my right hand, and I put my gun in my left hand because my body was towards the wall, and I knew that if I needed to shoot, I'd have a broader area with my left hand. But I also knew that the male, he retreated back. And so there was a couple of seconds where he and we lost eye contact with each other. And
we locked eyes.
I'm really short on words. I'm going to try to describe it as best I can. If this is the hall right here,
Oh my God.
this table, I'm walking backwards. The pistol is in my left hand at this time.
But I'm right-handed.
And at the point that I get to the next room, there's like a small, I call it like a little pocket. You can actually get out of the hallway and you can stand right there. So I retreated to try to take cover. And once I felt that I could get to my radio, which I carry the microphone up here on this side. I communicated to our dispatcher.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but just
Yes, sir.
so the record is clear, when you pointed to this side, which side are you referring to on the right?
I'm sorry about that. My left side.
100% half Irish.
The radio on the
Absolutely.
Okay, you also indicated that when you made eye contact with the defendant, that he retreated back. Where did he retreat to?
Inside the room.
Back into the room.
Yes, sir.
Do you recall what room number that this all occurred in?
I don't know, sir.
Okay, that's okay. And so you say he
Was it
retreated back inside
420?
the room, you yourself retreated back, changed your gun to your left hand.
Yes, sir.
And you talked about how you began to make sure that you could call out on the radio. Tell us about that.
Yes, sir.
I think Reindeer is the one who sent me this one. Thank you for the tip.
I know on the radio I probably had a stutter moment because we used to use 10 codes where I worked, and at the hospital we don't use 10 codes. So I know in that moment that I probably use a 10 code.
What is the 10 code?
A 10 code is a series of.
But we moved on to the Konami code. If anybody gets that, you're awesome.
Preset numbers that police officers use to minimize radio traffic. So if I want to say man with a gun, I'll say male 1032. That 1032 means someone with a pistol or handgun.
So in this occasion, you called over the radio, and what was the description?
110 is my call sign or my element number. So I said 110 dispatch. I said there's a male, 1032, up here on postpartum. And I gave him the description. Hispanic male, black muscle shirt, blue jeans. At some point, once I felt that I could safely try to look against the wall to the room number, I gave dispatch the room number.
And to your knowledge, were you the only police officer at the scene at that time?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you called out for help. Did you have any further contact with the defendant at that point?
At that moment that I was communicating, I was calling dispatch to tell them to send me Dallas police and to send me an additional Methodist police officer. I wasn't talking to the male. I was wanting to make sure that dispatch heard me. And usually the way that I know and they hear is they acknowledge. They'll repeat or they'll say something to acknowledge. And so I wanted to make 100% sure that they heard me. And I wanted to make sure because the radios we have within the hospital sometimes are not reliable. So I wanted to make sure they heard me. And so I was focused on dispatch. And it wasn't until I took some other footsteps, and I'll describe that, but at that moment, no, sir, no, I was not talking to the male.
Okay. At some point, does the male come back, try to come back outside the room?
Yes, sir, he did. As I walked backwards initially, and I tried to take cover in that little pocket area that was in the room down. I moved across the hallway because I didn't want to be in the same spot where he had seen me. So I moved to give myself an advantage. I'm thinking, well, he's going to look for me here. I'm going to be over here. It was after that I crossed the hallway that the male, he came back out of the room. And when I say out of the room, he walked like past the door, and he was looking down the hallway to where he had last seen me.
Could you see if he had anything in his hand at that point?
Yes, sir.
What did he have in his hand?
He had the same pistol that he had in his hand the first time I had seen him.
Okay. You described him as looking down the hallway to see where he last saw you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What do you do at that point?
At that point, it's kind of like time had sort of really slowed down. I mean, probably hadn't, but at that time I had already made a decision within myself that a nurse had been shot, and I only knew about one at that time. And I told myself, I'm the only one up here right now. I would glance to see if McCrail or Jaime Hinojosa had made their way up to the floor, but at that point they hadn't. So my mind is telling me, if he comes out of the room empty-handed, I'm going to tell him to, keep his hands up and get up on the floor. And I told myself, if he came out with a pistol, I only had one option. And that was to make sure that he didn't get out past the room with a gun.
Okay, so what did you do?
When I saw him and he was looking out of the room, he had the pistol, and I fired one time at his leg.
Why did you fire at that time?
Because I fired at that time because I feared for my life. I feared that if he came out of the room,
You might hurt a light bulb.
that he was going to try to shoot more people.
Okay. And so how many shots did you fire?
One shot.
And could you tell when you fired that shot whether or not you hit him with that shot?
Yes, sir. I know I had him.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure.
The way he jumped back.
Okay. So what did
He jumped back even though you got him in the leg?
were able to tell
Yeah.
that you hit him with the shot that you fired?
Yeah, he sounds like he saw the shooter and the shooter saw him.
Yeah.
And then he went like around to the other side where the shooter had not, because he knew the shooter was going to look for him in the same location.
Yeah.
So he set up in a different location. So when the shooter popped out, he just took a shot at him.
Okay, I've got to give it to him. Good on him for going for the leg. Good on him. I mean, if he actually
I don't think it was
went.
intentional.
You don't think?
No, they're trained to do center mass.
They're trying to what? Sorry,
Hit center mass, not
what's
to
that mean?
your chest.
Really?
Yeah, because the only
Why?
time you can use deadly force is if you're in fear for your life.
And he said he was in fear for his life.
No, I mean he was, but
Yeah.
you don't just like shoot somebody in the hand or try to. It's because it's much harder to, as Bobby just said, hit your leg or hit an arm. Your center
Right.
mass is the biggest part of the body,
I see.
most likely. Now,
Okay.
I will say it happens a lot where an officer will shoot somebody and hit their hand. Just because when you're in fear for your life, you're focusing on the imminent threat. So it's just instinct to your body kind of points to the threat. But
Right.
their training is to hit center mass.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was giving him props for nothing then.
Yeah. Well,
Not that he's not a good officer and he wasn't doing his
No.
job and it wasn't brave. I'm not saying that at all.
Yeah.
That's not at all. But I'm just saying that I understand everything that you're saying.
Yeah.
It's just like it would be nice if it.
Yeah. No, I
if
get it.
The
And there
idea was to try and
Yeah.
just maim somebody rather than
Yeah.
unalive them. Please go on.
He went back into the room, and there was still a lot of screaming in the room from the female who was in the room.
Did you hear what she was saying?
Women.
I just remember that she was still screaming very hysterically. I can't
I thought
recall
a
what
light
she
bulb
said.
broke.
Okay.
Sorry.
Was the defendant making any statements at that time once he retreats back into the room?
Hey,
Sorry,
Robbie
ask me
Mill,
one more time.
come to Australia.
After you shot the defendant, could you hear him making any statements? Say you went back inside the room. Was he talking to you, or could you hear anything that he was saying at that time?
He was complaining about his leg, and the female. I think at some point within that second, she kept screaming, "Please don't kill him! Please don't kill him!"
Do you know who she was talking to?
It appeared that she was talking to me.
So what did you do at that point?
At that time, I tried to.
This guy's hero is Thomas Edison.
I was trying to find out a name for the room. Officer McCrell, probably at that same time, she made her way to the floor. And I gave Officer McCrell, a description. I think I repeated the description to Officer McCrell. And the room, I can't remember if I just pointed to the room or said room number, but I told McCrell that he was in that room right there.
Were you able to determine a name for the room or who's inside the room?
No, sir. I asked McCrell if she could try to get a name from the charge area because I wanted to try to use a name as a negotiating tool to try to, instead of saying, "Hey, you," but it didn't work at that time.
Okay. Were you able to speak with the defendant at that time?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tell us what you told him and if you got a response from him, from the defendant.
I told him that he needed to throw the gun out of the room. I asked him, I said, if you can let the people go, gotta let them go, partner. You gotta let them go. Let's get the people out of there.
And did you get any response from the defendant?
There was a response. It was still non-compliant response.
Did the defendant throw the gun out of the room?
In that second, no, sir. It
Hi,
took a
everyone.
little bit.
Did the defendant come out of the room at that point when you were ordering him to come out of the room?
No, sir.
Did Did anybody come out of the room at that point?
No, sir.
At some point, do you realize that some other officers are coming to assist at the scene?
Yes, sir. There was one Dallas officer, Dallas Police Department officer. I don't know his name, but he stacked up right across me on the hallway. And I gave him the information as well as the description. And probably within maybe 10, 15 seconds, there was a second Dallas Police Department officer.
Okay, so additional officers came to assist. Do you continue to speak with the defendant at this point as other officers are coming?
I tried. I kept trying to convince him to throw the gun out, and he and I spoke just briefly, a couple of words, and I just kept trying to tell him, hey, just come out of the room. I know at some point in time, the female who was in the room said that he couldn't walk.
Okay, so what do you do at that point?
At that point, I know myself, and there was another Dallas Police Department officer who was, we were trying to convince someone to throw the gun out.
At some point, did the gun come out of the room?
Yes, sir.
Do you know who threw the gun out?
I do not.
So after the gun is out of the room, what do you do?
After the gun is out of the room, you can see it in the hallway.
Aww,
Myself,
the jingles is lovely.
2 or 3 Dallas Police Department officers, we start to walk up towards the room. And I didn't know it at the time, but Dallas Police Department, they actually had a shield with them. But I didn't know that.
Oh my God, dude.
And as we're walking, it kind of seems like
The
they
light's getting
stopped for a
darker.
second.
You say they, who are you first?
I'm sorry, the Dallas Police Department. Yes, sir. In my mind, they stopped. And my mind is like, why are we stopping?
What did you feel like needed to be done at that point?
We needed to at least be able to look into that room because the gun was in the hallway. And I know I had a cover unit. A cover unit means I have a secondary officer, a third officer.
Oh my God.
So as it kind of seemed like everything just stopped for a second. It seemed longer, but it was probably just a second or two. I take a step back, and then I take a step forward, and I try to take what I call a quick peek into the room, where you just kind of like.
What you call a quick peek?
Were you able to see anything inside when you did that?
Yes, sir.
What did you see?
Is that a technical term?
The other nurse who had been shot.
Did she appear to be deceased?
Yes, sir.
Okay, were you able to see anybody else inside the room besides the police?
I think on my
Oh,
first.
I
quick
thought I
peek-
paused it.
No, because
I thought I paused it by
I was so
mistake.
focused on
What
No.
was that?
the nurse.
Hold on.
I think
Well,
on my
JB,
first-
it's a really short trial. We weren't going to speed
Nurse was
anything up, but I tend to agree.
Were you able to take
He
another
talks
look to see
super
who
slow.
was inside the room?
Yes, sir.
Okay, who did you see?
I saw
I
the
feel like we should get
defendant
him to narrate
was-
Shades of Grey.
And also, welcome,
I can give you this
JB.
direction, the hospital bed
I don't think I've met you before.
is
Welcome
situated north and south.
to
In direction
my
inside
channel.
the room.
And this is
He was on
Dali.
the south side of the bed. He was on the floor.
Lying on the floor?
Yes, sir.
Was he face up or face down? What do you call? If you don't recall something.
I don't recall.
At some
Okay.
point, you made entry into the room?
I started to. Once I saw him and saw that he was there, with the blood as well. But then one of the Dallas officers, they grabbed me by my collar, and they were telling me, Sarge, we got a shield. And it wasn't until they grabbed me that they basically staggered in front of me with the shield. And it was a Dallas Police Department that first made entry into the, like actually going past the door.
Okay, so our officers able to go in and take custody of the defendant?
Yes, sir.
Would you like me to tell you what a shield is?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you hear the defendant making any statements at that time?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what did you say?
He said that she cheated.
Do you know who the defendant was referring to when he said?
Oh.
I believe that he was referring to the female who was inside the room.
And do officers?
Oh, I thought it was
give
Monopoly.
first aid to the defendant at that time?
Yes, sir.
Did you assist with that at all, or did you observe that?
I assisted with that.
Okay, what did you do to assist?
They applied a tourniquet to his injured leg, and I was trying to keep his head in an upright position because he was lying on the floor. So I wanted to try to keep his head in a comfortable position.
Did you notice anything about the defendant's demeanor or attitude, what he looked, anything unusual about any of that you from what you heard?
I'm sorry, ask me again.
Yeah, did you notice anything about the way the defendant was acting, looked, his just general demeanor, anything off or unusual to you about him?
Just
Well, there's a hole in his leg.
he appeared. Of course, he was in a lot of pain because of the way he was moaning, and I was trying to ask him his name, and the main thing I remember him saying is that she cheated. So I try to keep his head upright as the officers put the tourniquet on his leg.
Okay, so after the first aid is done, what happens next?
At some point, I know that the lady was carrying a baby in her arms. I think she still had an IV pole or something. She had some wires on her or something. So I asked her, I said, "Is the baby hurt?" And she said, "No." And I was like, "Give me the baby." And I basically passed the baby to another Dallas officer or someone, a nurse. I can't remember who it was.
So at some point, the defendant is, I guess, wheeled away for medical treatment. Did you have any further contact with the defendant after that point?
No, sir.
Oh, shit.
What did you do after that? After they wheeled the defendant?
Right.
I took the mother who was inside, the female who was inside the room. I took her down towards the charge nurse area, the nurse desk, and I asked her to sit down in a chair.
Okay.
You checked to make sure if there was
Dali.
any other injuries to anyone on the floor?
Stop it.
Yes, sir. We went into several rooms checking for any other people who might have been hit with gunfire.
Okay, any other injuries that you observed?
No, sir.
Sergeant Whitehead, were you wearing a body-worn camera
Sorry,
that day?
I
Yes, sir.
And was it recording at the time of this
keep
incident?
forgetting.
Yes, sir.
The folks with the jar.
You may.
Everybody, I'm going to show you what's been marked as state exhibit number 17. Can you tell me whether or not you've seen that before?
Yes, sir.
Okay, turn it over. And how do you know that you've seen this before?
That's my signature with the date.
And have you had the opportunity to watch the full video that's contained on this DVD?
Yes, sir.
Does it fairly and accurately depict the events that took place on October 22nd, 2022 at Methodist Central Hospital?
Yes, sir.
Has it been altered or deleted in any way?
No, sir.
It's time the state's going to offer statement. Okay.
State Exhibit 17 is a minute proper.
It's time the state's going to offer as well. Statement number 15, it's going to stipulate the defense is going to be for the record a floor plan of the hospital. Every council.
Okay.
Has that already been admitted?
No.
Exhibit 15, State Exhibit 15 is a minute proper.
And the state would further offer state exhibit number 16, which is a crop and zoom diagram of the floor plan of the hospital, specifically related to fourth floor chemical and to council's direction. Okay.
State Exhibit 16 is a minute proper.
And further, pursuant to a stipulation of the defense, the state would also offer state exhibit number 13, which is going to be surveillance video from Methodist Hospital Postcard in the South Hall is the view of this particular surveillance video, as well as it states exhibit number 14 is going to be a flash drive containing surveillance video from the public entry.
We have no different, no John.
I think exhibit 13 and 14 for minute for all purposes.
Permission to publish to the jury, Your Honor.
Yes, you may.
Okay. Whilst nothing is happening,
Mm.
I just need to point out that, where is it? This is not my comment.
Yes, I am very sorry.
You're not really.
No, I am actually. I felt really, really bad.
Just for the record, Your Honor, state that
No, I legit, it was an accident.
Video from the public entry vantage point.
Mm-hmm.
Total of 8 hours and 24 minutes. However, obviously, we're not going to play the entire thing. We're just going to play some small snippets. And so I'll say no records I play during the times that we play.
All right, does the defense have any objection?
No, ma'am.
For the record, I'll state exhibit number 14. We're going to skip forward to the actual time, 10:30 and 30 seconds.
Sal's never asked that question in any chat, ever.
I'm always sorry. I'm a very sorry person.
And for the record, this particular surveillance video does not have any audio.
Do you need the lights on? Or?
You can turn it down, Your Honor. Thank you.
Jesus.
He's never had his big boy talk.
Daddy never gave me big boy talk.
No,
Oh, God.
clearly
This is
not.
the officer's worst nightmare right now.
And Sergeant
Ooh,
Rodney,
what's
you kind of
happening?
described
They just
setup
turned the
for us,
lights
but,
off in court.
As we're looking at state exhibit number 14, what are we looking at in this particular?
He needs a light bulb.
video?
I know.
That is the general public entry, exit doors into the postpartum unit.
Dennis!
So just to describe for the record, to the left of the top left of the screen, we see the public entry doors, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And towards the right bottom, you see where the staff members are seated at the nursing station.
Yes, sir.
Is that
Yes.
where,
I
as
love-
described earlier?
I love that
you
one.
see who's coming in and buzz people in and out there?
I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. There's a secretary that sits down. I believe she's in the black. If you see her behind the counter, she's always the one that has that access as far as to see who's buzzing at the door.
So we'll just let this run. I'm gonna pause for the record at 10, 30, and 33 seconds. This individual, you can see my pointer. Is this the defendant that you came into contact with the gun that day?
Yes, sir.
Does he appear to have some kind of hand or something in his hand here?
Yes, sir.
For the record, he
I'm good.
takes a mask and he continues
I
to
appreciate
down
that.
the hallway. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, so I'm going to pause that video at 10:30 and 41 seconds for the record. So at this time, Sergeant, we'll switch to the South Hall view. Just for the record, this particular video is taken video number 13 with a total of 4 hours, 36 minutes and 13 seconds. We're not going to play the entire thing either. I'm going to skip forward to the record to a time of 10:30 and 37 seconds.
And this was stipulated to by the defense.
Yes, ma'am.
So just to kind of orient the members of the jury, this is looking from the South Hall, looking back towards the nursing station. So the top of the screen up here is going to be where the nursing station is going to be, correct?
Yes, sir.
And that'd be the vantage point of the video. We just saw the public entry is going to be at the top of the screen, correct?
Yes, sir.
So we see at this point the defendant coming down the hallway. And he makes entry into a room. Were you aware that he had entered the wrong room?
It wasn't until after everything that I discovered that.
So for the record, at 10:31:34, we see the defendant come out of the wrong room and then enter the correct room. And I'll pause this at 10:31 and 43 seconds. On that same
He does
video,
have a very sexy voice, and he is a musician.
11:03 and 54 seconds. So if we look back towards the top of the screen, do we see you there in the hallway?
Yes, sir.
See my pointer here. We also see the first deceased complainant, Jacqueline Pokuaa, also proceeding down the hallway.
Okay, the dog is not in the hospital, it's outside.
In 5 seconds, we see Katie Annette Flowers. You both proceed towards the front of the room. You retreat, is that when you heard the gunshot?
Yes, sir.
And at this point, we see Katie Annette Flowers proceed towards the nurse station and identify to break.
Yes, sir.
What are you doing at this point in the video? We're 11:05 and 50 seconds.
Right there, I was most likely communicating to dispatch as far as the mail inside with a handgun.
You got your gun out at that time?
Yes, sir.
And it's very quick, so I'll back it up. You 11:05 and 50, 11:06 and 15 seconds. As you proceed to the other side of the hallway, we're going to focus our attention, if you see my cursor, to the door of the room.
Yes, sir.
Hey!
See the defendant begin to come out. Is that when you shoot?
Yes, sir.
Hello, hello, hello.
I'll pause this video at
Could you press pause, please, Sal? Let's just introduce the lovely Wilhelm Media.
Hello.
Hello. Wilhelm Media is the one responsible for making it possible for us to be able to hear
Yes.
this trial, which was absolutely, I won't even use the words, but just inaudible.
Yes, it was definitely inaudible.
It was just awful. So yeah, Sal and I tried to stream the what everyone saw on Nik's stream earlier this morning. We tried to stream that last week, and with all the rudimentary kind of tools that we have available to us, extension browser tools, etc., it was just it was really hard to listen to.
There's lots of problems with it.
There were lots of problems. So thank you, Wilhelm. Much appreciated.
Yeah.
So I'm going to chuck a link to your wonderful channel in chat. So thank you. I'm sure everyone here has maybe already said thank you to you, but thank you. Also, Vil, the other thing is I wanted to not just have you here for your lovely commentary, but I believe there are some parts of this testimony that we need to be a little bit wary of. Would you like to just give us a little bit of a heads up?
Yep. What I'll do is I will go look for them to see where they are, because I know we're coming up on them.
We're coming up on them?
I believe so, yes. So
yeah.
there's some parts to be cautious.
What Will was saying to Dali and I is there's some blood.
Kaiser buddy.
A little bit of blood.
A little bit of blood. Hi, Kaiser. How are you? Good to see you again. Yeah, so because Vil has watched all of this, no spoilers or anything like that, but just to be aware that there is some pretty gory exhibits, and we don't want to get ourselves in trouble with the gods of YouTube. Yeah, it's a current trial. It only happened last week.
Yeah.
Yep.
Crime Spice. So, yeah, so it's pretty recent. Hey, Colleen, good to see you too. All right, so yeah, it's good to have Bill here to just not just because we love him, but also
But, yes.
because he has some insider information. So, yay, let's keep going.
Next, we'll publish state exhibit number 17, which is going to be your body worn camera video.
Don't think so, Crime Spice.
For the record, Your Honor, Sergeant Ron Hill's body worn camera video with a total of 1 hour, 29 seconds, and 37 seconds. But again, we'll put forth that.
Hey, jackpot rings.
And so I'm going to start Sergeant Ron Hill's video at the very beginning. It's 4 So Sergeant Ron Hill, just for the jury's information, there's no audio for the first 30 seconds of your body cam video. You know what that is?
That's a feature that it's called like a sleep mode. It activates. It goes back 30 seconds before you actually activate it, if that makes sense. If I explained it correctly.
Yes, sir. And just for the jury's information, at this point, no shooting has occurred. You're just responding to the initial call, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anthony? Thank you. Robert, how can I help you all?
We were in San Diego on the 20th. We had a baby on the 20th.
Yes.
We were there, and they transferred down here after we had 2 hours or whatever. And I packed up all our stuff, and I was looking for her prescription glasses and the Versace. And I think I left them. We didn't left them on the table upstairs. So when I went up to the squad, to remember we were supposed to get discharged today sometime today. So I was like, I'm just looking here. And she was like, hey, we left them upstairs. So I went up there, and they said they couldn't find nothing or nothing. And then they went to the room, and I went to the room and checked. I didn't find nothing, but for sure I know that we left them up there. And they gave me that card that said that who cleaned the room or whatever. I don't know. I'm not saying that she can do anything, but we're trying to figure out where we can find the glasses or what happens to the glasses.
Okay, let me start with this. Let me get some information from y'all. I'll backtrack over there real quick.
Yes, sir. I can go to the lady again, and I can, all our stuff we had upstairs, and we're not nowhere to be found.
What's your name, sir?
My name is Ignacio Salcedo.
What's your birthday, sir?
10/5/76.
What's a good telephone number for you?
214-206-7945.
Address?
3442 Kenmore.
Kenmore, like Kenmore?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's
Zip code, please?
75623.
Shit.
Do you have that right now?
I'll give you that.
Do you have the timestamp where you're at right now?
I'll give you a little bit now.
306:58.
It's coming up in about 2 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long does it go for?
Well, it goes on for a bit.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, so just a heads up, like there's going to be actual shooting and stuff that's going to occur.
Okay.
Like, it's not just seeing blood and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
What should we do?
I guess
do you
just play the
think?
audio.
Play the audio. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
Because it's going to start pretty soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you still hear it
No.
Nothing's happening at the moment.
now?
Okay, go. So take it away.
Oh, that's fine. I'll
Yep,
give
there
you
you
a
Yep, we can hear it.
Okay.
I can't hear it now.
There's nothing now.
Yeah.
Okay. Chat, can you hear it?
It's silent right now, mostly. You hear that?
Yep.
Okay, can hear it.
Yes, sir.
Goes until about 3:30 is where it's gonna stop roughly. Just as a heads up, yeah.
Take the time. Gotta go through traffic. Take care of that. What do you got? Here, 4 people. DVD, can you have your quick? Go ahead.
Yeah, like this is the actual like shooting in the hospital that is occurring.
Okay, this guy's understanding your hostage situation, so we'll hear real quick. We'll do real quick. You come out, over here, please, come out. Come outside. Parker. Hey, I'm Robert. What's your name, Parker? What's your name? Talk to me. Okay. Okay, listen, we can work this out, Parker, okay? All I want to do is just get the people outside, please. We can work this out. Just let them outside, okay? Just throw the gun outside. Throw the gun out, please. Throw the gun outside. Parker, we can work this out, man. Trust me.
I'm gonna talk to them. 749. Now, did you know the defendant prior to the day?
No, sir.
You didn't know his name, right?
No, sir.
And so you asked him for his name, and then he said Nestor. Is that accurate based on what we heard?
Yes, sir.
But later on, you're referring to him as.
I think you may be good, Sal,
Yes, sir.
for a little bit.
You didn't hear his name clearly, or what was that about?
When I first heard him say his name, I heard Victor. I think my hearing was a little up and down. And
He did say he had to step away for a minute, so maybe he stepped away.
That's fine. I can put it back.
Yeah.
I'm not sure name, but
You want
I
to check the
initially
timestamp before you bring it back?
For the jury, this person that you're conversing with is the defendant in this case, Nestor Hernandez, right?
Yes, sir. Correct.
Okay. And so
As long as you're past 3:30, you're good.
Audio that we heard, what was his, did you hear his response?
At least for
Yeah.
another.
I couldn't
Okay,
make it
you're
out.
good to
I
come
heard him
back
respond.
Yeah, we're good to go
I wasn't
back.
sure what he
Yeah,
said.
you're good to come back
sweet.
for about 18 minutes.
Yep, all good.
Okay.
Cool.
Throw the gun outside. Throw the gun out, please.
Well, hang on.
Throw the gun outside.
Should I take it back?
Yeah, probably. It was right around 3:30 is when it happened. When they came back and it was all good.
Hang on. Is it okay to go back or not?
Let me look. You might want to keep it away. You can kind of see it
Okay.
on the screen still. It's when the lights come back on. If you can see it when the lights come back on, you're good. That's when you can come back.
Okay. Right. No problem.
It should be just like a few seconds. It shouldn't be long.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It won't be too long. All right. Sorry, chat. But yeah, it's
It's a little
It's at
graphic.
3:14 now.
Sorry, what'd you say, Dali?
It's at
3:14
now.
3:14. Yeah, I just unintentionally muted it though. Could you please
Yes, I paused it. Sorry.
Oh, you paused it. Okay.
Yeah, it's when the lights come back up in the courtroom you're good to go for a little bit.
What's this?
You guys can't hear this, right? Right
No,
now.
I can't hear it
We
right
can't
now.
hear it now. No.
Well, I
No.
paused it now, but a few seconds ago you were hearing it.
We were hearing it, yes.
Okay.
Nothing yet.
I can see that it's not paused, but we can't hear it.
Yep. Maybe.
Dali, you working on that? Sorry, guys, just a little technical glitch. Won't be a moment. Probably the ninjas again. Yep.
Yeah.
Dali. Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Do you reckon you could just fast forward?
Okay.
And
Yeah,
until the lights come up?
Yeah, it should be like about 3:31, I think, is when the lights come back up, I think.
Thanks very much. Yeah, that'd be great. Okay, awesome. Maybe we could just bring that back on stage.
There you go.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Legend. Great. Cool. I feel much better about that now.
I'll put the other timestamps in there so you guys have an idea.
You are a legend too, Real. Teamwork.
I was on the phone with the New York courthouse.
Oh, were you?
Yeah. Oh, God damn it.
Oh, yeah. You keep chatting as me.
It's not intentional, I swear. It's just like add it to your stream.
Hang on, now I need to use. Okay, if you're going to say not intentional, you know what I have to do?
Not intentional. Not intentional. And can you show the jury on the diagram where the shooting took place, that particular room that we just saw? Everybody got that video? Okay. And where were you located when you responded to the initial call? Where was that room located?
I'm not sure the jurors on this side. Can't see. I'm sorry. Yeah, they didn't see it.
Can we move this a little bit closer?
Y'all can stand up.
All right, thanks. So you can take a seat on stage.
Wow, I guess I really wasn't joking when I said if this officer didn't testify, the trial would only be one day.
Officer Reagan, I just have a couple of questions for you, from my sir. During the planning of the video with the jury, that pretty much showed what you were able to, the camera pretty much captured exactly what you were able to see at the same time, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now there is at the point in time when you actually shot the defendant in the leg, you never see the defendant on the video screen, do you? From your vantage point.
On the video screen?
On the video camera, your body camera.
No, sir. No.
I mean, it's blocked by the wall there.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And did you actually ever see the
jury
defendant prior to the time that you engaged with him and actually shot him?
Can you, I just want to make sure I'm understanding your question.
Did you ever physically lay eyes upon the defendant at any time prior to your engaging with him and shooting him in the leg?
Yes, sir.
And when exactly was the first time you saw him?
It was when the nurse was in the hallway, right about that time where she was shot, that I saw the defendant come out of the room with a pistol in his hand.
Okay, and did you see him before or after the pistol discharge?
After, if I may, I'm going back just so I can make sure that I'm explaining it correctly. I'm standing in the hallway. I'm waiting to go back into the room where they had dispatched me to go take this report. I hear what I describe as a light bulb.
Another light bulb.
Between
What's with him and the
that
light
time
bulbs?
that I hear the light bulb noise,
He thinks Thomas
there was a
Edison is
second
really sexy.
gunshot, and then there was another shot where the nurse got
Invented
hit in the
light bulbs.
hallway.
His house is
From the
absolutely
video, from the
full
video that we
of
observed,
different
the time
colored
that
light bulbs,
the
shapes of
nurse
light
appears to have been in
bulbs.
the hallway appears to
He
have
goes
been
all out
Pictures
at
of light
on the
Christmas.
right side of
bulbs.
the hallway, were you not?
That is
Yes, sir.
And the doorway
blood.
itself was in a recess on the same side of the hallway that you were on, was it not?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Bill.
So is it your testimony that the defendant came out of the room all the way into the hallway where you could have seen him from the same side of the hallway?
If I may correct, when I saw the defendant, he wasn't standing like in the hallway. He kind of peeked out. He peeked out of the doorway just enough where I could see him.
Blood is not the only concern that you're going to
saw
see.
what he was wearing. And then when I looked,
It is a
and I looked
maternity
at his
ward.
hands, that's when I saw the pistol. But he was still in that, what I call that pocket area.
Yes. And you saying that this was occurred before or
Did not
after
know that.
the discharge of the firearm that struck the second nurse? That's fine, sir. Well, the video will speak for itself. We'll revisit that issue. The last question I want to ask you, sir, or the last series of questions. The video shows that at the time that you, as well as the other officers, reached into the room, it shows the female in that room standing on the left side of the bed, or what would be the closest side of the bed to the front door of the room, correct?
Correct.
Did you observe any obstruction or anything that would have kept her from being in that location earlier, before y'all came in the room?
Obstruction meaning?
Was there anything that kept her from being in that particular location that she was in? Did you see any cords or anything, any IV cords, anything that was preventing her from standing there where she was when you entered the room?
Not like a blockage, if that's what you're asking me, or cords.
Well, basically, I just wanted to bring up the point with you that when the door finally opened, you guys went into the room, she was standing there between the bed and the restroom in that room, correct?
Yes, sir.
I believe that's all I have for you right now, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
There's one person. Sergeant Rydell, we're quickly just going to show you a brief portion of statement number 17, divided on camera again. Where for the record at 303, we see an individual here in some blue scrubs. Does this appear to be the deceased individual that you saw in the room later on?
Yes, sir.
For the record, that would be the deceased individual. All right, that's all I have, Judge. I'll thank you.
Judge Burley, decide, brother.
All right, may this witness be released?
No, Judge, for the state charge.
Subject to recall.
Thank you, Sergeant. Please remain within earshot before the other side wants to call you, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Oh, that
I
part.
love your little transitions, Bill. Very cute. Now,
Good, sir. Thanks for asking.
Yes, sir.
Oh, my.
excuse me, I need to go check my child.
Yes,
It's
my name
getting
is
up.
Emmanuel Esquella, ENMANUEL ESQUEA.
And how are you employed, sir, currently?
Currently, I work for the Department of Homeland Security.
Okay, do you live here in Dallas?
No, sir.
Okay, where are you currently located?
Atlanta, Georgia.
Where did you work prior to your current position?
I was a police officer for the Dallas Police Department.
And how long were you with the Dallas Police Department?
5 years.
Bill, you're still here, right?
Correct. I'm here.
Cool. Okay. Even though I'm turning my camera off,
Currently,
Bill Hammer is still here.
I'm a
I don't
federal
know
law
about
enforcement for the
it,
Department of
Dali.
Homeland Security. When surrounding counties arrest citizens, or not citizens, but migrants that are removable from the United States, they take them to the intake center. Then I process them to see an immigration judge.
Okay, let me take you back to the day of October 22nd, 2022. Were you with the Dallas Police Department at that time?
I was.
What were your duties at that time, sir?
I was assigned to patrol, sir. My duties were responding to calls for service.
Okay, and do you recall receiving a call at Methodist Central Hospital that day while you were on duty?
Yes, sir.
What was the nature of the call?
The nature of the call, I believe it came out as a active shooter call.
Were you alone or did you have a partner with you that day?
At the time, my partner and I don't remember his name. We were in West Dallas finishing another call for service when the active shooter call came out.
Okay, and did you in fact respond to the active shooter call at the hospital?
Yes, sir.
You see all those, Sal?
Yeah.
Okay. There's quite a few.
Yeah. Absolutely. So once we got the call, my partner and I
Just
dropped
make
what we
sure
were
you
doing
don't
and
miss
we
that
headed to
one.
the hospital.
The
And as we were
first one?
driving,
The
we
next, well, not the
Oh,
next
yeah.
one, the one
and
after that.
every time someone
The one
calls,
I'll watch
Don't
later.
miss
seeing
that one.
notifications that someone else called, and they were all saying the same thing on the call sheet. I've been to Methodist Hospital a few times, so I had a good idea where the maternity ward was, which was where the call for service was. So I parked down there in the Sally Port. I drive these, it's called the CERT car, which has some of the breaching equipment in the trunk, like a slammer and a ballistic shield. So myself and a few other officers that arrived there at the same time, we parked there and I start getting some of the equipment. I didn't know if people needed it or not. So I, of course, grabbed the shield and I gave the breaching equipment, the sledgehammer, to one of my partners that was there with me. So we go in through the first floor and then we see some people walking around and we all go into the elevator, at least 4 or 5 of us.
When do you make it to the location where shooting occurred?
Excuse me?
At some point, do you make it to the location when shooting occurred on the 4th floor?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what's going on there? Saying you got to describe what's happening.
Yeah, so as soon as the elevators opened, the first thing you see was it was silent, and the first thing you see was a pool of blood, and I guess that's the first time I realized like this is something serious. I realized like that something would happen. So we went through the doors on the left, and then we see officers stacked up on both sides of the hallway. I don't remember what agencies there were, but I was the one with the shield, so I knew eventually that I had to make my way to the front because that was the only way we were getting inside the room. So we eventually push up, and then I face the front of the door. Then I see one of the healthcare's workers' body on the ground, covered in blood, and she wasn't responding. And I saw another man's body on the floor, face down. I felt like we were there for minutes on end, but we kept giving him commands and commands and commands to come out, but he wouldn't respond. So eventually one of the officers kind of like pushed me forward to go in.
So
Here, you do it.
Were you the first to enter the room?
So goofy.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and when you said you saw a man lying face down on the ground, did you know who that person was?
At the time, I did not, sir.
So at some point you make entrance to the room, correct?
Yes, sir.
And what happens when you make entrance to the room? Let me ask you this, was there anybody else inside the room besides the deceased worker and male?
There was the male, and then there was a mother holding an infant child in the room also.
So what happened when you make entrance to the room?
So I enter the room and I step over the woman's body, and I had to put the shield down. So I put the shield down, and I grab the man's hand, and another officer, we put handcuffs on that man.
So the man that you placed handcuffs on that day, are you able to identify that person?
No, sir.
Wow.
At that time, he was face down, covered in blood, and I did not get a good chance to actually see his face, sir.
And so once you place handcuffs on him, what happens at that time?
At that point, other officers carry him out of the room, and I believe some officers put a tourniquet on his leg from what I saw, sir.
Did you have any further contact with the person that was arrested that day after that point?
After that, sir, I briefly had contact with him while we escorted him to another floor to take him to some doctors that would tend to his injuries. And besides that, no, sir.
Okay. Were you equipped with a body worn camera that day?
Yes, sir.
Was it recording?
It was, sir.
Chris is supposed to reach on? So I'm going to show you what's been marked in State Exhibit number 18.
Okay. So do you want to pause
Is
for a
this
second
what
before you do this?
Yeah.
So you can ask the. So since you guys are going to actually see the video, do you want us to explain what's going on in the video while it's
Sure.
happening, so you can
Yeah.
understand what's going on?
That'd be great.
Because some of these are quite graphic.
Yeah.
Yes.
I might actually
yes,
have to
please.
go and change the age thing on them. I did
Yeah.
not realize that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, if you want that, just say something in the chat. So
And is this a DVD containing your body worn camera video from that day, October 22nd, 2022?
Yes, sir.
Have you had an opportunity to watch this entire recording?
I have.
Okay, so yeah, we're coming up to some really graphic video.
Yes.
We still got
Changed or altered in any
minutes.
way?
No, sir.
Turn your click on office.
How many minutes did you say, Dali?
2-3 minutes. I'm keeping an eye on it.
yeah,
Sure.
it's when the lights go off.
Ooh. Oh no, the lights are off.
47 minutes and 1 second, however, the stays on, it's going to play the first 4 minutes.
Yeah, there's a few of them, Bobby. Yep, this is where Yeah.
It gets sensual.
Something.
Officers running with a shield. Shaky screen. Officers running in. Running down the hall.
Yeah.
Running. Dude, your shield's blocking the camera now.
There you go.
Now we're just looking at the guy's dirty fingerprints.
Yeah, they're taking the elevator because you know they don't have stairs in hospitals apparently.
No. Let's see, the passing the women's bathroom. Going out the door. I wonder if I made those signs.
Yeah.
Now they're discussing the logistics of arriving there.
Yeah, and just for the record, you guys can't really hear what's going on in the video really well.
Nothing is really happening.
Now they're going into the area.
Yeah.
We're moving by like where kind of a nurse's station is coming up.
They pulled the officer back.
Yeah.
Wearing a mask on his chin.
Yeah. They're just moving down the hallway. Yes, the baby is still alive.
They're not just wow.
They're getting ready to enter the room.
They're entering the room now.
Yeah.
Handcuffing him. There's a lot of blood.
Yeah.
Woman was breastfeeding.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of blood.
Yeah.
Lift the guy up. Secure. Come on, dude. He's a bad leg. Don't make him walk out of there.
Yeah. That is a lot of blood. Yeah.
I have no question, John. No, Jake.
So we're gonna have some more coming up that we'll have to take it off. But
yes. Yeah.
That was a lot of blood.
Yeah.
That's what Rosalio's house should have looked like.
Yeah. Yeah, basically. That's the way they made it sound.
Yeah. Or not should have, but I mean, if
based on what they said, that should have
based on what they said, yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, Ashton. Good to see you. Welcome back. Everyone go subscribe to Vilhammer.
Absolutely.
What a legend.
And just, I'm not going to do it right now because I don't want it to screw anything up, but I will be at least changing the first one to an age-restricted thing because I did not realize that the mother was nursing in there. Yeah.
I don't know.
Of all the things that should make you turn it to age-restricted, that of all
That's
things,
ironic.
like, really? Isn't that ironic?
Yeah.
Anderson? Do you swear, you raise your hand, do you swear that the testimony you will give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Good afternoon, officer. Introduce yourself to the jury by stating your name and spelling for the court order.
My name is Officer Jonathan Anderson. That's JONATHANANDERSON.
And also, you're an officer with the South Department.
Yes, that's correct.
How long have you been with DPD?
Since March of 2014.
And what are your current duties?
Currently, I'm on assignment in the patrol in Southwest Division.
All right, let me take you back to the date of October 22nd, 2022, when you were with DPD at that time.
Yes.
And you recall responding to an active shooting call at Methodist Central Hospital on that day?
Yes, I do.
Describe for members of the jury, did you respond to the hospital?
I was actually in the emergency parking for the ambulances. I just went there to use the restroom when the call came out.
Okay, when you got called, what you do?
There were 3 other officers actually that were nearby. So we all grouped up. I grabbed my rifle and we went to the hospital.
Did you say zipped up?
I think he said ripped up.
Oh, okay. Well, he said he was in the bathroom, so.
And did you at some point arrive at the location where the shooting took place?
Yes, I did.
Okay, what did you do when you got there?
Well, I assessed the scene. We got to the correct floor. We tried to determine which way we needed to go, where the threat was. I remember I looked to my right and I saw that there was one that had been shot that was on the ground.
Can you describe what that person looked like?
Female, a white female.
Did she appear to be moving or anything that you can tell as far as her talking, moving, anything like that?
She wasn't moving. And at that point, some other individual came and started to give her aid, trying to remove her from that area.
What did you do at that point?
I continued with the rest of the officers down the hallway. We were directed to where, well, we made a left turn down the hallway to where there were more officers that were already in the hallway. And they were taking a position to, I guess, have some cover from where the shooter was at. So we just continued making our way down the hallway to try and get to the room where the shooter was.
At some point, after other officers were given commands, did you all make entry into the room?
Yes, yeah, we finally did.
Okay, what happened when you went inside the room?
The female was there who I guess, given birth to the baby. So we're trying to get her out of the way and make sure it was safe and take the suspect into custody.
Okay, and you were able to take the suspect into custody?
Yes, we were.
Are you able to identify that suspect?
Yes.
Today? If I'm seated in seat number 1, co-counsel seat number 2, what seat was you seated in?
Seat number 5.
Okay, reflect this witness has identified himself on the court.
The record was so reflected.
Officer Anderson, were you equipped with a body worn camera that day?
Yes, I was.
And was it recorded?
Yes, it was.
Have you had an opportunity to review the recording?
Yes.
United States on Office number 19, recording of Officer Anderson.
Okay.
Is it 19? Is it minute roll?
For purposes of the record, Joshua Anderson's video is only 33 minutes and 50 seconds. We'll run a portion of that as well, and we'll start at time 2:25 online.
And FYI, Sal,
Yeah.
this one, if you're squeamish, just FYI, it's
Yeah.
worse. Yeah.
I'm not squeamish, but oh yeah, got a blood there on the floor.
Oh, of course. So this is a different angle. So they're coming in, and I believe that you can see the person who was shot in the head.
Yeah.
And they're providing aid to her. People from the hospital are. And the cops are trying to move around the corner.
We're looking at a wet floor sign right now.
Yeah.
4th floor.
We'll pause the video at 3:30 and for purposes of time, and then skip forward to a time.
They're just making their way down the hall.
Nosing down there.
Yeah.
Outside the door.
Using the bounding technique.
Kid's hungry.
Cover maneuver.
Officers are just in the room.
Yep. Now they're getting him in cuffs, and the poor mother is standing in the corner, who's clearly just feeding
She hands
the
the baby
baby.
to the officers, who is now topless.
Just a quick question.
Yeah.
Also mentioned that Ms. Toro, the female with the baby, that she appeared to be hooked up to an IV.
Yes, she was still hooked up.
And was that what she was indicating why she couldn't come out of the room when y'all were boarding out of the room earlier, because she was hooked up with IV?
I don't know exactly why at that point, but that when I was in the room, that's why she was not trying to leave the room.
To another room. Stay out of here. Come on.
Officers are now yelling at them to get out of the room. And the one officer is staying behind and getting dude, have some decency.
I think he's getting her a blanket.
Oh, okay.
You'll see it in a minute.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Still. Now they're trying to work with a wheelchair.
We need a nurse come disconnect. Can someone come disconnect them out here? We need someone disconnected from the elevator. Is that nurse come? Can someone disconnect her?
It's so crazy. They're just standing around. They're not. Yeah, you can probably skip to like about 4:05 because they just stand around for like the next minute. They don't really do anything.
All right, let's get forward.
Yeah. Yeah, they're the different officers who are there. They're playing the different body cam footage basically from all of them. I mean, if we want to skip, we can skip the next one too, because it's basically the same scene, just from a different person's angle, really. And that way, well, that one's even worse because there's splatter all over this camera. So,
jeez.
Don't forget, guys, you can watch this.
Yeah, on Veal's channel.
If you're not squeamish, obviously, you can watch this whole thing on Vealham's channel.
Yeah.
There it is there. In fact, I can even post the link to this particular video if you'd like to watch those parts that we've had to redact the vision from.
Yeah.
As Veal said, he's going to be putting an age limit warning on it, so he doesn't get yeeted.
Yeah, it's not for the blood. It was actually for the partial nudity.
Yeah, weirdly enough.
Yeah.
Thanks for sticking with us through that.
Yes.
Thank you, John. Good afternoon, officer. If you could please introduce yourself to the jury by stating your name and spelling for the court.
Officer Williams, from Southwest Patrol.
What's your first name?
Dominique.
You can please spell it for the court reporter.
DOMINIQUE.
Okay, how long have you been with DPD, Officer Williams?
9 years.
What's your current assignment?
Southwest CRT.
And what is CRT?
From Crime Response Team.
And what is that? What do y'all do in that unit?
We respond to, I guess, high crime areas and saturate the area, and also respond to, we run warrants and respond to people that do multiple crimes at the same in the same area.
Okay. Were you with DPD on duty on October 22nd, 2022?
Yes, sir.
Were you with CRT at that time?
No, sir.
Okay. What were you doing at that time?
Second watch patrol at Southwest.
Do you recall responding to an active shooter at the Methodist Central Hospital that day?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And did you in fact respond to that call?
Yes, sir.
When you got to the hospital, just kind of describe to the jury what was the condition of the scene, what was going on?
Just a lot of chaos. A lot of officers stacked up in the hallway. People running, people pointing.
Okay. At some point, you come into contact with the defendant.
Yes, sir.
And how was that? How did that come about?
Once we stacked up on the door to make entry to get him, we stacked up, went in, we arrested him, brought him out to the hallway. We laid him on the ground. I put the tourniquet on and cut his pants open. We plugged the bullet wound and held pressure until somebody came to help him.
Can you identify the person that was taking custody that day?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm gonna seat number 1. Okay, I'm seat number 2. I'm down the line. Let's see number 3.
Seat number 5.
When the rest of the proceedings have identified the defendant number 4. The record was so much record. After were you wearing a body worn camera that day?
Yes, sir.
Have you had an opportunity to review that body worn camera?
Yes, sir.
And did the fairly active defense that took place that day while you in the hospital?
Yes, sir.
Say obviously number 22.
Okay.
This is 22 was in your for all purposes.
Which was over to the jury.
You may.
So also witness video total 15 minutes, 24 seconds for relevant about 8 minutes. The record will start at the time of 1:35 on the 1:36.
Sal, if you want to skip to like 4:19 on this one, that way we can just, because this is the same scene that we just did.
Gotcha.
It's just from a different. Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, that's literally that's all they wanted. Is just another angle of it.
Yeah.
And then you get another guy coming to do the same thing. Yeah. It's, if you are squeamish, I might not recommend you go watch the video.
Yeah.
Just being honest. If you are squeamish at all, do not recommend. The dog may have a light bulb.
Are you kidding me?
I swear that the testimony you will give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God.
I do.
Thank you. Thank you. Proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Sir, can you please introduce yourself to the jury by stating the name of the court?
I'm Detective James Mismash, M-I-S-M-A-S-H. I'm a detective with the Dallas Police Department.
What are you assigned to a particular unit?
I am. I'm assigned to the Southwest CRT and Deployment Unit.
And what do you do in that?
Our main assignment is to do rapid apprehension of active offenders.
Okay. Let me take you back to the date of October 22nd, 2022. Do you recall responding to an active shooter call at Memphis Central Hospital?
I do.
Okay, if you can describe for the members of the jury, did you respond to the hospital?
I did.
And describe for the members of the jury what you did with that.
I arrived at the hospital, was led on to elevators to the 4th floor, where I was admitted by some medical personnel that had a card to get the doors unlocked. When I got up there, there were 2 other officers that are members of my squad that were performing first aid on a person that was down in the hallway. At that point, one of them had asked me they needed some cutters, and I had a pair of cutters in my tactical vest, and I helped them with the person that they were working on.
You should never cut.
Okay. The person they were working on, you know who that individual was?
I did not at the time.
I got that joke.
Yes,
Took me a second, but I got it.
Subject of the active shooter call,
Yes, it was.
Nestor Hernandez.
Yes.
Okay, identify this person in court today.
Far left side, my far left side at the desk, wearing a black suit coat, black tie, and gray shirt.
The particular witness that identified in the court. So while you were on the scene, on the crime scene, Detective Mismash, did you collect any kind of evidence?
I like his mustache.
You can explain, describe for the jurors what evidence you collect. It's in a couple different places. I guess in the active crime scene, when you're doing first aid, you collect anything there.
I did. I collected a pistol magazine that had ammunition in it.
And did you also later on, tell us what you do after first aid was given to the defendant?
I picked the magazine up that was laying on the floor because it was still an active scene, and I was afraid it would get lost or destroyed. So I picked that up. The defendant who they were working on was put onto a gurney, and he was taken down into the emergency room, at which point he was handcuffed. When he got into the emergency room, they wanted me to take the cuffs off. I rode down in the elevator.
Were you wearing a body worn camera today?
I was.
Was it before you?
Yes, it was.
Taking the risk of body worn camera.
Okay.
Station to the 23 is admitted for all purposes.
Commissioner Thomas briefly, Your Honor.
You may.
Just for the record,
That was the original video, by the way, that skipped like that.
Oh, really?
603,
Yeah.
we're gonna play a small portion of the mismatch.
Shock.
Magazine, and then
Yeah.
later on, taking the ID card from the emergency room.
Okay, so if you want to jump to about 4:30, which is hilarious because that leaves about 45 seconds.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's like
Is
basically
that
the end of the day.
day?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah. They basically, yeah, you can fast forward a little bit. There you go. And they're done for the day. That's literally it.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And then they wrap up for the day.
Oh, okay. So we jump to your end screen.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like, yeah, that was basically it for the day. Like, it's just, even though it sounds terrible, like they're basically just getting evidence in.
Yeah.
So it's like you can kind of get through most of it pretty easy.
Yeah.
But the other 2 days sound much better because they're in the room this time.
Yeah.
Who are in the room?
The people who are videoing and doing the audio, they're actually in
Oh,
the room
right.
this
They're
time.
not outside the room.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Outside.
they've actually decided to bring the camera inside.
Yeah. Like
Yeah,
it sounds.
and the microphones.
Yeah, it sounds and it looks much better. So
Okay. That's fair enough.
day one was
Alright.
rough. There wasn't a whole lot to do about it because they just weren't in the room.
It-
So
They just had tomatoes with little cameras inside them, and they kind of put the tomatoes around
yeah,
the
it's just
place,
so-
and
yeah. It's
and
so bizarre.
the tomatoes were melting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's.
Well,
I mean, my guess would have been like one of two things: is either they got there late and they
Yeah.
didn't, and they weren't able to set up in the courtroom, or B, through most of that, I remember earlier during Nick's chat, people were asking like, "Is that a kid or something in the
Yeah.
background?" And maybe it
Yeah.
was an accidental, like, bring your kid to work day thing because they couldn't find a babysitter.
Oh.
Like,
Yeah,
so that would be my guess is probably one of those two things happened,
so
which is why they
strange.
weren't allowed in the room.
I've seen some really bad court footage before, but that is up there.
It's really up
That
there.
really is up there with some
Yeah.
of the worst. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it wasn't even just the attorney's fault. For like, sometimes the attorneys like to run around and
Yeah.
and just like avoid the microphones at all costs. But it wasn't even that this time. No, it was just really, really poor audio visual. So
Yeah.
yes, but we're doing our best, and thank you so much, Wilhelma. And it's I feel like it's worth it though. This is a good trial. Like, and when I say a good trial, it's a horrible act that has happened. It is really a terrible crime, and I feel that it's worth having attention on it. It's worth having the public be able to see what's going on in this courtroom. I appreciate the American court system, that it is open to the public for us to be able to view it. We don't have that here in Australia. We don't have cameras in the courtroom.
Yeah.
We are not able to view the proceedings like this here in my country. So I appreciate that. Anything at all would be wonderful, even a tomato camera. So I appreciate that. I appreciate all of you here who have joined us today. From Nik's chat, who have come over to my chat, and Dali. If you don't know us very well, Salvador, Dali, and I, we do a lot of streams together. We are co-hosts. We call each other co-hosts. Even though it sounds terrible, it actually started from a typo.
Yeah.
I called him co-host as in H-O-S-E, not H-O-E-S,
Yeah.
H-O-S-E. And we just keep calling each other co-hosts. So we often stream together. Thank you, Crime Spies. We have lots of very loyal chatters like you, Crime Spies.
Yes, you're awesome.
Yeah, and so it's really wonderful because I'm all the way over here on the other side of the world. Dali is in Arizona, and so he's a little bit later or earlier than a lot of the country.
Yeah.
Earlier?
Oh yeah, earlier.
Yeah.
2 hours.
Yeah, and he works, so therefore he sort of picks up things. He can only really cover things that are later in the day.
Yeah.
And so therefore we're able to sort of do Dali bear down. What's that say?
No, it's like Salvador Dali.
Yeah. Salvador Dali. I call him Dali. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of people just call him Salvador. I call him Dali.
Yeah.
So we stream together because the timing works out well for that. I get up about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and that's around when Dali gets home from work.
Yeah.
So that means we can usually do afternoon sessions of trials or other things.
Yeah.
And that's around the afternoon time for Eastern Standard Time for Americans. And it just works out really well. And we get along so great.
Yes.
Veal, you're a great friend of ours. We like having you around.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's fun.
And and we're Sal and I are nearly close to being monetized. I have enough subscribers. I just don't have my watch hours. I need.
You should have the watch hours soon, Veal.
Oh,
I was gonna say I'm actually the inverse problem.
Yeah, and so is Dali. So Dali just needs a few more subscribers.
So
he's got enough watch hours.
How many
Everyone
watch hours
go
do you have,
subscribe.
Veal? Do you know?
What was that?
How many watch hours do you have, Veal?
I think I have crested like 2,000. I think already.
Yeah, you would.
But it's because like you guys are streaming this, like Nik was streaming it, and they of course do
Exactly.
Jody and all this other stuff. So it's like
you'd be building them up all over the place.
Yeah.
But everyone needs to subscribe to Veal Hammer. Everyone needs to subscribe to Dali.
Yes.
Great content creators. And myself, somehow I have enough subscribers, but because I don't really stream like long content very much.
Yeah.
I just don't have the watch hours yet. I need about 1,200 watch hours. So yeah, I'm having a watchathon, a Hella watchathon. My name's Hella, so a Hella watchathon. So, thank you everyone for being here. It's been wonderful. I believe Nik wants to do the same thing again on Wednesday.
Yes.
Yep. And there will be warnings for him and for you on Wednesday.
Okay.
Oh, you're going to give us warnings, are you? Okay.
Thank you.
I will try to timestamp them out this time.
That'd be wonderful. It'd be great to have you back again, Phil.
Yeah.
If you want to, if you're free.
Yeah. We'll see on Wednesday. Wednesday's going to be a busy day for me.
Yeah, sure. So please like and subscribe and turn the notification bell on, the really heavy, chunky one. That way you can see what's going on. Especially, and also on Nik's channel as well, because that way you can see whether he plans to do, we haven't decided for definite if it's going to be Wednesday and Friday, and even what time exactly. So if you have that notification bell on, the heavy dark colored one, you can get your notifications. Also, making sure that you are on the Discord. Well, both Dali and I, we are part of the Making Law Simple network. You can see in the top left-hand corner of your screen, we're part of that one. And if you subscribe to that, I'll just put that link up. If you subscribe or if you become a member of that one, you get live alerts to that, and you'll never miss out when we go live. The other thing is, make sure that you are a member of Nik Starow Trial Watch. Again, you will never miss out on any of the live alerts to anything that happens on Nik Starow Trial Watch. So support your favorite content creators. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're part of all of those. Become a member of all of those content creators. And make sure that you get all the perks and all the live alerts and all of the member content. because everyone works so hard to bring all of those things to you. Thank you, chat. I'm going to stop blaring on now. Take my child to school.
All right.
It's
Go.
7:47 a.m.
Fun.
It is
Tomorrow.
Yes.
It's tomorrow today.
Today is Tuesday. In the future.
In some parts of the world, it's tomorrow. Tuesday.
It is tomorrow. It is Tuesday. You people are just stuck in the past.
Yep.
Okay. Time to say bye-bye. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.
Wave, Veal.